Hi, everybody. Welcome to Scar Stories. My name is Nicole Golden. I'm the host, and I love this podcast because we get to meet and talk with so many different people. And a lot of times our topics have been super heavy about different like messes and brokenness that we've had to walk through to get to the other side. But these next couple in December are kind of going to be fun, I feel like, because we're going to talk about a little bit more lighter topics. Now I say that, but then I was like looking at the questions I sent to Stephanie. I was like, we're probably going to end up going deep anyways. So it is what it is. I can't help myself. But this is my friend Stephanie Shepard, and she is BA. She is a mom of two, a military wife, entrepreneur. I really want to make sure that you guys check her out on social media. Great Life is a Must. And we're going to talk about why you chose that title for your branding, because I think that's going to be kind of fun. But Stephanie, tell us a little bit about yourself, like how long you've been married, the ages of your kids, how long you've been doing Great Life is a Must. Give us a little bit about you.
Okay, so again, Stephanie Shepard, and I am all of those things that she just said. It feels like, God, I do too much, but we'll work on that another time.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I've been married. We just hit 7 years this past September, and we have 2 kids. Braden is 3 and Mackenzie is 5. And hopefully Braden doesn't interrupt me. I've given him the speech, but he could come in here at any moment. So just FYI.
Listen, Braxton makes an appearance in almost every podcast. So it is what it is.
Good. So they know the deal. So it's crazy because people always ask me like, well, when did you start doing this? Honestly, I don't know, because I started it and it wasn't even like, I was not doing it the right way. So I was just kind of, blogging about random stuff. I think it really started as food. I
was going to ask you that, like, what's your, like the thing that you love the most about it? Is it, because I know you're like a self-proclaimed foodie.
Yes, I am a super foodie, but I think it started as food because I even did like I hate to even say this, but I did a cookbook and it's on Amazon, like a e-cookbook. And so it's trash. Like, I'm not even going to give you the name of it, but
well, I'm going to go looking. I'm going to hire a PI and I'm going to find this cookbook. I can't wait.
But yeah, so it started as that. And then eventually, I think once I had kids is when I started, because kids, they give you all kinds of material for, if you're a writer, like you just have kids and you'll have content for forever,
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's when I kind of transitioned it to include more than food. And then my food blog was called Great Food is a Must. And so I just transitioned it easily to Great Life is a Must to really encompass everything that I was, wanting to do. And so I would say, I guess I could say I've been doing it correctly, or like, built up the knowledge and the skills to like kind of know what I'm doing a little bit, probably for like a year now.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. There's so much to blogging. I'm sure you're, getting all into that and realize that it's not this little easy, just, type something up, put it out there. I mean, so
you have to hustle.
For about a year, I've been doing this, they're like really making it into a business.
Yeah. And I follow you on social media and I'm seeing like your readers and followers interacting with you, and you're so good at interacting back with them and just offering such practical content. That's what I love. And your pictures are so pretty too. It's so fun, but, and you have a beautiful family as well. So, and Stephanie's very honest in her content too. Like a lot of it's fun, but she's also very honest. And there's not a topic on there that you don't tackle. Like you've talked about racial issues, you've talked about motherhood and marriage, you've talked about stress, and I think that's what's so fun is have you had trouble with it being so broad? Like, do you feel like it's too broad sometimes and you have to?
Yeah, I always struggle with that. And I'm definitely my dad's child. Like, just kind of, I feel like I'm gifted and I say that in the most humble way. Like, know how you just have a lot of things that you're like interested in, a lot of things that you feel like you can add some value in that area. And I feel like sometimes it is too much. Like, I often struggle with, well, maybe I'll just make it a mom blog, but then I would be, literally cutting off a whole other area of life where I feel like I can still add value. So I just kind of make it what it is. And honestly, I like pray like, okay, God, you're going to have to push out and give me the visibility that I need, even with this broad, audience and whatnot. So it's a struggle for sure, though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think too, like being a military spouse, so you've had so many different experiences, and I love having friends that are former military or current military, because we just went out with a couple the other night, and I'm like, I feel like all military people are foodies and wine connoisseurs. And I always feel so dumb when we're like at restaurants, because they're like pulling up the wine list, like reading about the history of the wine, smelling it. And so like, I just pretend like I pick up my wine glass, especially when I'm with military people, and like shaking it around. And like the husband ordered octopus. And I'm like, and then my husband, who's like a meat and potato guy, and he's like, try this octopus. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
So funny. Yeah. Our experiences definitely do that. I mean, not all of us, but the ones that have had the chance to travel, you do become a food snob. Like, you get that honest.
So are you an overly so to have the handle great life is a must, are you an overly optimistic person, or have you had to learn to see life as an adventure because of being a military spouse, or where does that handle come from?
So that's kind of see, here you go, deep.
All right.
2 minutes in.
I know, exactly.
So it's funny because some people will say to me, like, you're always so like happy, and I don't necessarily feel that way, but I think the problem is, or not problem, but the factor is I'm a control freak.
Okay.
And so I know that if I let myself get to where I'm just like super down, it just spirals. You know what I mean? So I'm just very aware, and I have to take control so that I don't get into this down place. And so because of that, I am, I do tend to be pretty optimistic, but I'm also a realist at the same time. So I just, I'd like to consider, that I would be an optimistic person. I'm not typically, and I guess I really wouldn't let a lot of people see it probably. So that's a whole nother issue in and of itself, but
that'll be for another episode.
Yes, another episode. I have my moments, and it's just the natural flow of life, but I try to be upbeat again, because I know how bad it can be
girl.
if I'm not,
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like great life is a must. Like it's a choice. I feel like it's kind of what you're saying. And like we have a choice. And that's one thing I talk a lot about in the different episodes is like, okay, we are given, we are handed this life, and we can either allow ourselves, in one of the previous episodes, I was talking to a licensed counselor, and he was like, we can either be victims, survivors. And I think a lot of people stop at survivor because they're like, I've made it out of my trauma. I've made it out of my hardship. I've gotten to this point. Or we can be overcomers. And I feel like your blog and your social media and everything is about overcoming and like living that overcoming life, like, and making the choice to enjoy the life we've been given, because as a military spouse, as a Black woman, you've had your fair share of hard stuff you've had to overcome, so I love it. I love everything about it.
I agree. Great life is a must is definitely, I look at it as a choice. And I think you had even mentioned about just like military life and how that definitely plays a role into, I mean, because shoot, if you don't know anything, like life in and of itself, remove military aspect out of it. It's so unpredictable. Like people keep saying we're in these like unprecedented times, and we're in, we don't know what's going on. Like we never did, you know what I mean? So that's not new. Like everything has been unpredictable. And so add in the military life, aspect of it. We don't know when we're moving, where we're moving, how long we're staying, if we're staying, you just don't know anything. And so for me, I know that I have to create that great life. Otherwise, I mean, and I've seen people, we lived in Germany for 3 years. I absolutely loved it, but I had friends who hated it, absolutely hated it. And so again, no judgment on them, because I get it. You're far from family and whatnot, but they did not create that experience that they could have created, just because there was so much the unknown, we don't know the language. I don't know how to get around. I can't drive on the Autobahn, So I mean, it definitely, it's just a choice that I have made, and I hope to encourage other people to make the same choice. I mean, like I ask my husband all the time, like, why would you not want to have a great day or have a great life? Like who would choose not to have a great life,
Yes. I feel like in the same boat, because like even last week when the kids had to stay home because of all the hurricane and everything, I'm like, okay, we're going to be trapped in the house now with 4 kids, 8 and under. So what are we going to do? And I'm like, we're going to turn on the Christmas music, and we're going to work some baking projects. And I think sometimes just even changing the rhythm, just even a little bit, like just kind of helps change your perspective. And I think sometimes we get into this rut where we just think like, we just can't enjoy life. And it's like, no, you can work little things into your life to make things fun, anyways, we're so on the same page about that. I love that. And I think especially as Americans sometimes, and, we've got people from all over listening to this, but especially as Americans, when life isn't easy, we're just like, oh, we just throw up our hands and we're done. We don't ever want to put effort into things if it takes work. We really struggle with that. And so I don't know. I love it. I love this conversation. Okay. So you put up a post. I always have to like keep things moving. People are like, when I got into the podcast world, they're like, you're going to have to keep the people you interview like on task. And I'm like, no, they're going to have to keep me on task. Like that's the problem. All right. So I'm looking at the questions here. So you put up a post the other day. And I think we're going to air this one in December. So you guys are going to have to go to our page and like go all the way back. I'm going to save it so I can post it when I post this.
Okay.
But you put up a thing about, was it 6 ways to avoid stress?
Yeah.
I think it was 6 ways. Okay.
Stress-free holiday season.
Yes. And you said November and December are the 2 most stressful months. Is that true?
Yeah. So if you look at, I think it's Psychology Today. So they talk about it. They've been talking about it for years now. But obviously winter months are just the most stressful months, period, because of lack of vitamin D. There's not a lot of sun. And so it just kind of puts you in just a funk, and so add into that the holiday months. And so then you're dealing with all the things that come with that, maybe you're grieving still a loved one. And so holidays are hard for a lot of people. Maybe you have a lot of family drama, but they all want to get together on Thanksgiving and you don't really want to go. You want to just have your own family unit thing at the house, and so you add in, finances and just all of the other things that come with holiday stress, So winter, holiday, it's just like this big conglomeration of just all the things that make, kind of increase your stress levels. And so, it's definitely, it's, I guess their research shows that, it's true.
It's like the most wonderful time of the year. I love it.
It's supposed to be, right?
I know. We need some honest Christmas songs is what we need. No, then I think we'd all be depressed. Okay. So you came up with 6 ways then. And so the first piece of advice, or the first tool to reduce the stress, you said, is to create a budget and to keep it. So what I wanted to ask you is, you said create a budget. I have it written down here. That's what I'm referring to my notes. For meals, gifts, and activities. So is that one budget for all 3, or is it a budget for meals, a budget for gifts, and a budget for activities? Like, how would you suggest we create a holiday budget?
So I would do it for all 3, There's a lot, and obviously COVID is here. So there's maybe not as many activities, but there are still things going on, in most people's, wherever you live. So you could, maybe you want to go to the lights at the zoo, or, whatever it is, just looking at your budget, because we obviously all have, we should have a monthly budget for our families. And then you add in holiday season, there's just a lot more going on, more meals, more activities and things like that, Christmas shopping. And so you definitely should have one for each. That way, how much we're going to spend, who we're spending on, what activities are we going to, who are we, whatever it is. Just, I would definitely do it for, all 3. How many meals are we hosting? How many potlucks do I have to attend? And that way you're more aware. And so come January, it's not like, oops, we, overdid it. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because Bright and I do this. So we sit down as soon as we're big Christmas people. So my house is already decorated. It is what it is. But when we enter into the month of December, we'll get our big wall calendar down and we'll put in the dates where we want to go when, so that we already kind of have it planned out. So when we get to the end of the month, we're not like, oh, we missed that one activity, So I think what we'll probably end up doing this time is putting in the prices for each thing too, and adding that all up. But I love that idea. And we talk through, we've already had the conversation. So Stephani attends our church, but at our church, we're doing a big, I can't even think what it's called. We're giving a bunch of money away. Generosity campaign. So that's where it is. I'm like, I should know this. So we already talked through how much we're going to give to that. We've already talked through how much we're going to spend on the kids. So it is helpful. And I keep a little journal writing everything down so I can keep track of it, because once I get on Amazon, the money's flying away.
Amazon.
Okay. Then you said, so you talked about holiday meals and you said, create a menu. And then you said, shop according to that menu. So why is it so important to create the menu and then make sure to shop that menu? Why is that such an important detail? Because I think when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, no brainer. I think I do that. And then I was like, do I do that? So
yeah. So, I mean, we've all been in the kitchen. You're cooking whatever grandma's favorite sweet potato, whatever, and you realize I don't have any vanilla or I don't have any brown sugar. Like that's the worst thing. And especially when you have to leave the house during holiday season to go to the store, it's crazy crowded or closed. So then you're heading to the gas station to see do they have milk? Do they have, and they never do. They have like they barely have the basics, So for me, and I do this all year round. I shop according to a menu all year round. So my kids, my family, they all know it's posted up what we're having every single day, but that's a whole other topic. But especially during holiday season, if you already have everything that you need because you know what you're cooking, again, you have planned out your budget in terms of where you're going, what holiday potlucks you're going to, you'll just have everything. And I suggest obviously getting it early. Like I'm kind of late this year and getting our Thanksgiving stuff, but eventually I'll get it. And I will have exactly what I need. So the day that I cook, I won't need to leave and go and get, what I won't need to borrow anything from the neighbors or, whatever. So definitely decreases stress for people who, are in the kitchen.
I love it. That's so smart. Cause yes, I'm constantly the one like, I gotta run to Walmart, or like our neighbors, Brad and Angela. I'm like literally over there every day. I ran out 2 sticks of butter. Oh my gosh, bless their heart. I need to probably get them a gift card to Publix to make up for everything I've borrowed. Okay, so these next couple, I loved these, and I'm just interested to see because they're so good, but I think a lot of people are going to read them and be like, how do I do that? So the next one was don't succumb to the pressure to say yes to everything. So I think everyone to a person has a really hard time saying no. So how do we say no and yet like not feel guilty about saying no? Or how do we say no and not worry about hurting someone's feelings? Like how do we make sure we don't succumb, but not also carry the guilt of like, did I hurt that person, Yeah.
And so this is definitely a hard one. I will say that being a military family, we are away from like all of the normal, hey, mom wants you to come here, dad, or, whatever. So it's, it's typically no, like we can't come, they understand. But for people not in that situation, it's hard. And I can't say that the guilt will go away immediately, but it's crazy. I was just 2 days ago talking to another friend about normalizing no. So most of us in America, really everywhere, we feel like if the answer is no, I can't make your event, I can't give, or I can't do, we immediately feel like we have to have no and then insert this like really cute, reason or excuse in order to feel good, about saying no, or to make that person feel good about it, actually accepting our no. And to me, I just think that it's not healthy because then we do, you burn a whole relationship because I couldn't come to your, Christmas soiree or, whatever. And I just think we need to be more accepting and understanding of, no, I'm not able to make it. I would love to come, but I'm not able to make it without me having to spell out my whole schedule, for you. I saw a post that said, something like me saying, I forget, I wish I knew it. It was something about like, I'm not available, but it doesn't mean that I'm like not busy or something like that. I'm going to find it and send it to you because I'm messing that up royally right now. But it was basically just saying like, sometimes I am just not available, and it's not because I'm doing something else. I'm just not available. And so maybe it is, you need a mental break, or whatever the reason may be, you just can't go, don't want to go, can't do, don't want to do. And I think we put too much pressure on other people and ourselves to make no just much bigger than it needs to be. And so not, when it's your close friend, you may feel the need to share and that they'll understand, but really we should all be more understanding of, hey, such and such couldn't make it. And that's okay. The event goes on, maybe reschedule a different time, or, if that's possible. But again, not holding people to those high expectations of always being available for everything,
When I think you addressed it, it's both sides. And I think we need to practice being people even through the holidays and even past the holidays of like, if we've asked someone to do something, that we extend the grace to be like, hey, like, if you can't, no explanation needed. I'm going to, Brian always talks about this, but like fill the gap with trust. Like, I'm going to trust that it's not because you're out to hurt me, or it's not because you don't want to be with me. I'm going to fill the gap with trust to know, like, this is a busy time and maybe you just need to be with your family, Yeah. I really struggle with that because Bryant and I have to say no a lot in our position. There's a lot of people that want to get with us and be with us. And I used to explain everything. And, I get invited to showers and birthday parties and all sorts of things. And I think one of the things that has helped me is I always think, okay, is saying yes to this going to make me a better mom, wife, and friend, and sometimes I've been burning the candle at both ends. I get invited to something and saying yes to it's not going to make me a better wife. It's going to make me tired and stressed and cranky. And I'm going to be away from the kids again, and so I think like that's even helped me. And I think too, as you get to know people, like sharing your values and your belief systems even helps people when you say no, because they're like, okay, I know what they value. I know their priorities, and that's not when you're saying no, but just as,
right.
People know who you are, they know what you value, they know what you prioritize. And so they're understanding, knowing, okay, I know they value their mental health. I know they value, I just say no to a shower of one of my really, really good friends. And she watches these, so she'll pick up on who she is, but I had to say no to her shower. It was hosted at the church. And we had just been in Atlanta for several days and just got home. And it was going to be a Saturday morning. So I was going to basically, like, Brian and I would have just gotten home on a Friday. Then I would have had to leave Saturday morning. And I said no. The awkward part was we ended up at the church helping unload pumpkins during the shower. And I'm like, oh, crap, So I texted her later and I was like, I feel awkward. I don't know if you saw me here. And I go into all the apologies and everything because I was embarrassed, and I didn't want her to think, but it was so cool because she was like, listen, I trust you. And I know, like, you put a priority on your mental health. You put a priority on your family. And she was like, I'm not offended at all. In fact, I'm proud of you. And it was just really neat that I commend her so much for just taking the pressure off of me and being such a good friend, because I think if I were in her case, I would have been hurt. Well, she had enough energy to come, unload pumpkins. Why couldn't she just come, But it's that filling the gap with trust, thing that's so huge. So, okay, what a good conversation. All right, the next one. Oh, this one was good too. Normalize not impressing others. I have a blog coming out about this, probably around the same time this episode's going to drop. But okay, help me with that, because I have, and I think my sister-in-law's listened to this. I'm not sure because family, we're so close. But they are like party extraordinaires. Like they are incredible at decorating, party throwing, cooking, baking, and it's like I get in the place where I want to keep up, and I just so badly want to impress them. They don't do that to me, but it's just like I want to be Martha Stewart, or Joanna Gaines or whatever. Yeah. So how do we walk the line of enjoying, like, I enjoy the decorating, I enjoy all of that, but not letting that flip over into I'm getting my worth from it, or I'm putting all this energy into it, and if people don't notice, I get my feelings hurt. How do we walk that line?
Yeah, that's a hard one for sure. So I think it all goes back to choice, and so if you're having a party, hopefully you have budgeted for that party, and you know exactly what you can spend. And so if you get to the point where you realize I'm going way over budget here, then that's not a smart decision, And so if you're going over budget, it's likely maybe ask yourself, am I doing this to impress, whoever it is, because honestly, people have a good time whether decorations are elaborate or not,
Exactly. And wouldn't you say it's true? Sometimes we feel more at home in places that aren't crazy. Like, I'll never forget, I had a friend that was like, because we do these staff hangs and we used to do them regularly at our house, COVID happened. But she said to me once, she's like, I feel more comfortable in a dirty home than I do, like not a dirty home, but like an unorganized, like where you have toys on the ground or dishes in the sink. Like because we just feel human. We feel like, but anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, personally, I think decorations are the biggest waste of money because when not saying that they're wrong, but that party's over, you tear it all down, you throw it in the trash. Like literally, I saw, event staging is a big thing now where you have like these big boards and all the balloons. And I asked the lady, like, it's $300 for this thing I saw. I said, can you reuse them? And she's like, nope, we pop them and throw them away. And so
can you imagine?
It's expensive, So again, we're throwing these parties, we're making it pretty for other people. And so it's just not, it's something that you have to kind of know within yourself, why, what's your why, what am I doing this for? And even when it comes to like buying gifts or, whatever it is, one thing I hate, if you do this, I'm sorry, is when people,
oh, great.
is when people come Christmas Day, everybody posts that picture like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon of like, here's all the toys that my kids got for Christmas. And I don't know why that bothers me so much, but it does. And to me, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, for like almost even safety reasons, like, okay, so you want people to see that these are all the things that are available at your house.
Yeah.
Stolen. But the other part of it is just, it's not necessary. I mean, it's just not, to me, again, personal opinion, not necessary to do that. And so if you know that you're one of those people, that you're just kind of like waiting to post your picture, and so this is why you're doing it, to convince people that you're such a great mom or you're such a great dad because you bought your kids 50,000 gifts, for Christmas. Again, your intentions are not, they're wrong. It's not, that is not why we don't. And again, I'm talking a lot of opinion, guys. I'm not.
No, I love it though. That's fine. Bring it, girl. I love this conversation.
Yeah, but I'm like, we don't buy our kids gifts to show them how much we love them. You know what I mean? And I think that's not, because it's like equating them with like, if I buy you this, then I love you, and it's like putting a price on that. You know what I mean? So to me, that's not why we buy anyone gifts, to show them how much we love them. You know what I mean? It's definitely an expression of love or expression of care.
I love that, an expression. Yeah.
It's not necessarily like this, I did this, just to show, like, this exact thing shows how much I love you. So again, I think if your intentions, look at your intentions, really figure out why you're doing something. And I think that helps with lessening maybe the chance that you'll be doing it to impress other people. I mean, it's just not, to me, it's just not something that's necessary. You have to be concerned about your own pockets and your own intentions. And I think you will, not try to impress people as much.
Yeah. And I think, and what you said, like, we're not saying that you can't, have extravagant parties or do those things, especially like if it's, you really want to love on people and minister to people. But I think you're exactly right. Like, having a budget, setting that budget will keep you accountable from needlessly throwing money away. And I don't know, it's so funny. It's the things that, like, it's funny, the things that get your attention. But so at our church, for our digital campus that we do online afterwards, Stephani knows this, but for those who don't attend Centerpoint, we do this thing called the after party. And it's just for us to be able to connect online with our digital campus. And so 2 weeks ago I was on the after party, and we were reading statistics of, it was a game, like, guess higher or lower, like, this is the amount of money Americans spend on this. This is the amount of money Americans spend on this. So Americans spend a couple $2 billion on turkeys for Thanksgiving, wrapping paper, and something else. And billion, just Americans. Wow. And I got this pit in my stomach, because I'm like, okay, all of that is good. Like, yes, let's wrap our kids' gifts, like, let's get a turkey for Thanksgiving. Like, we're not saying throw all that stuff away, but I just started thinking, like, okay, all of the homeless people, all of the people, in third world countries that we could be donating some of this money to. And I was just reminded again of budgeting, and Bryant spoke about this in our Crazy Like Us series, talking about generosity, like, give, save, live off the rest. And I love that, because I think sometimes, and you're making me think, even like, as you're talking about how much we spend on parties and stuff, because you're exactly right, we just end up throwing it all away. But I'm like, gosh, could I get creative and decorate in different ways? Or is there ways to start cutting corners so that some of this money I can start giving away? I don't know. It's a good conversation to have, but I love that budgeting will really hold you accountable. It's so true. Okay, we've got 2 more, so I want to make sure we keep moving. All right, I'm interested to see how you're going to handle this one. Dun, dun, dun. Don't mingle with people who compromise your peace. I 159,000% agree with you. How do we do that graciously?
So thank God I'm a pretty drama-free person. So for me, it's not really hard. And I don't have that issue. And again, we're away from a lot of like the normal family, friends kind of a thing. So but again, I think it kind of goes back to what we talked about a couple questions ago, just really just being honest and just being able to say, so chances are if you have an issue with someone, it's not like brand new information. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
so like,
It's like, oh,
like your cousin or that friend, they probably know that you don't really care for them too much. So I'm sure that it's not like, oh, Susie doesn't want to come to my party. No way. Like, what happened? Like, you probably know what happened, you know?
Yes.
So I think just being honest, you know, that, hey, you know, that you and I just, you know, when we're together, I think it's not the healthiest or not the best or whatever. I mean, if you feel like going into that, you know, you could just not care and just not show up, and that, you know, that's your choice as well. But you know, definitely can just have honest conversations with people. And I think, again, talking about normalizing things that we don't normally, you know, normalize, is that it's really okay to say, I want to set boundaries with this person. You know, I've had those conversations with friends that have had to, even their own parents, you know, where they're like, I just can't, and I need to be able to set boundaries with you. So I will schedule our phone calls. I will talk to you on these days. I can't see you on Thanksgiving Day. However, I'll come over a couple days before and spend an hour with you. You know what I mean? Like, just being able to kind of put it into your own, you know, set your own boundaries and make it exactly what you want it to be, that relationship or whatever it is. Because you go to the Christmas party at your friend's house who just stresses you out, it's not, I mean, it's just not healthy for you. You know, there's no reason for you to go to that just out of guilt, you know? So again, even going
or
back
to save face. I think some of us, like, we want to go to prove things or save face. And it's like, who cares? You know, live your life, your life, you know? So,
and I saw something else that another post. I see a lot of memes. I'm on social media a lot. It's
girl, I love the memes. I love the memes.
But it was like, if you don't hang out with me or invite me to like your normal everyday life activities, don't send me an invite to your baby shower, your Christmas party, I mean, it just kind of went on. List. And it's like, don't invite me to the like big events, but like on a daily, or I mean, I haven't seen you all year, but I get an invite, or even talk to you all year, but here's my baby shower or my Christmas party invite. And so again, that is not wrong. We have all done it. You know, I think we've probably all had a baby shower if you're a mom. And so, you know, that your mom or your whoever planned it probably invited some people that were just family friends, and maybe you don't talk to them. It's
well, let's be honest, we just need like more gifts. So we're like, oh yeah, I ran into them once at the grocery store. They can come. That's how I'm a gift person. So I'm like, how many people can I invite to get the most amount of gifts?
Funny. Yeah. So we all do it, but again, it's just, it's just another perspective to look at. You know, just when you get all these different invites, you can literally say, you know what, I'm not really in this person's life. And so you don't even need to feel bad about it. You know, I mean, they should know the same. Like, I don't ever talk to you, but you want me to come to all your things. That's kind of weird, you know?
Well, I think, exactly. I think most of us know, I mean, this isn't our first Christmas, right? Like, so I think, or our first Thanksgiving. So I think most of us know what we're going to expect. So like for us, I know our staff Christmas party is always the first weekend in December. It's not the whole weekend. It's one day. Like, gosh, people at Centerpoint party hard. No, it's one day. So I know it's that Friday or Saturday. I can't remember which one. And then I also know we're doing a wedding a few days later. And then I know like the week before school's out, you know, we have all the holiday parties. Now I can't go in this year, but, you know, I'll be buying stuff and sending stuff in. So like, I think and then we have a neighborhood party as well. So like, I think most of us have a fairly good idea of like what we're going to be expected to do in December. And so I think even adding that to your activity list of like, these aren't just like, we don't want to just go to Disney. We're talking from people like who are in Tampa, Florida, people from all over the, you know, country watch this, but you know, we want to go to Disney or Busch Gardens this night, or we want to drive through the lights this night or whatever, but add in the parties you know you are going to want to be a part of. And if you get asked outside of that, it makes it real easy. Like the answer is no. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just can't fit it into my schedule. It's booked. In fact, December should be the easiest month in the world to say no, because it's like, I'm sorry, like our schedule is just too full. Like that's all really you need to say. Like, I'm sorry, schedule is just too full.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, I think so. We overcomplicate things, right? Because you're even saying like with the people setting up boundaries, like sometimes we just need to have conversations, because you're right. The person we're struggling with, you know, for me, I remember, so, I mean, it's no secret for people. My brother committed suicide last year. And he was on and off opioids, you know, for the last few years that he was alive. So sometimes I talked to him and he'd be fine. Sometimes I talked to him and he was wacko, just depended. We can laugh at the trauma. But thing is like, it was tricky having him around at times. And it was tricky inviting him to family functions because we just never knew which Eric we were going to get. And I remember there was one time where I was up at my parents' house, and my sister lives near my parents, so she was there too. And he was really upset by that. And I understood his hurt feelings, but we ended up having a conversation several months later. And I was just honest with him. I was like, it's hard to know which one of you we were going to get. And I honestly didn't want to have extra drama. And he understood. He's like, I get that. And I was like, but I also understand that it was hurtful for you. So it's like, it's just tricky. We're in a tricky place that I don't know what to do, you know? Yeah. And I wish I would have had that conversation initially instead of after the fact, you know? So I guess this is just one of those things is like, Stephani nailed it. Like if you have conflict with someone, they're not going to be surprised by it. And I think just approaching it in love, like what, you know, you don't want to get in an argument. I don't want to get in an argument. You don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't. So what do we do? Do we just not go? Or do we go and avoid certain conversations? You know, I just interviewed a counselor for the Scar Stories that dropped the other day, Mike Brannon, and we talk all about this, like how to avoid the landmines during holiday meals that could cause issues, you know? So anyways, okay, last one is, you talk about doing something for someone that can't do anything for you or just doing something random. So give us some ideas of things that we can just do for people that maybe wouldn't be expecting it, like neighbors or elderly, or I don't know, what are some things we could do?
I mean, shoot, I just left Walmart. They have these super cute like plants, and they're in this like potted gift, like potato sack looking thing. They're really cute, like simple things. I think sometimes, again, we always think it has to be like, I got to go spend $300 on, you know, this person to make it meaningful. It could literally be dropping a plant, you know, at somebody's front door. You could do it anonymously or put it, you know, put a gift tag on it. I mean, it could be sending someone a gift card, just, you know, anything simple. Maybe you're gifting someone with all of the clothes that your kid could never fit. And instead of you selling it to Once Upon a Child, you say, here, you know, you take
this. I love that.
It could be just different ways. And I think, again, I'm all about being practical. And so you don't necessarily have to write a big check every time for something to be meaningful, you know? So just looking around, you know, maybe thinking about what are the things, the simple things that kind of bring you joy, you know? And of course, you can always volunteer at community organizations and the Christmas gift programs. I can't remember what it's called, where you like fill a shoebox with toys.
Operation
like
Christmas Child.
Yeah. So those things are always good, you know, good options. But if you're just looking for, you know, some simple ways to show kind of a nice, you know, gesture during this time, there are definitely options, and it doesn't have to cost you, you know, a whole mortgage to show that care.
Yeah, we have our neighbors, Barry and Eric, they don't have any kids, so they never decorate for Christmas. And of course, like right next door, we're already decorated for Christmas. I have a 10-foot Santa and like floating snowflakes that go down the front of my house. Like,
oh, wow.
It's we are those people in the neighborhood. So I'll never forget the first year. We've been here now 3 or 4 years. Who knows how long? COVID made me lose track of life. So I don't know anymore. But I was like, dude, you don't decorate for Christmas. So I went to the store. Barry's a gardener. And so I went to the store and bought one of those miniature Christmas trees. They're real, but they're small. It was like $10 and it had little ornaments. And I dropped it off at his house. And would you believe that's become a yearly tradition that he like looks forward to?
That's so sweet and simple. I mean, you're not spending $40,000 on some little tree, but that brightens his day. That's so sweet.
Well, people just want to, I think like we forget, people just want to know that they're seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, especially in the holidays when you don't have children, you don't have a lot of family, like you just want to know that you're being seen. And so I love that you encourage people, because I think too, like reducing stress, getting your eyes off of yourself reduces so much stress, you know, and just doing for someone else. And I love the idea of even it sometimes just being anonymous, like just because I think too, then you're not expecting anything back. It's purely like, this is for someone else, you know?
Yep.
So, anyways, okay, well, this has been awesome, Stephani. I'm going to have you on again because there are a couple different things where like, this is a conversation for another time. I think we said that like 3 different times.
Oh, shoot. What did I sign myself up for?
I know, right? You're like, dang it. No, so it's like, we've got a lot more we need to talk about at some point, but you guys follow her. Great Life is a Must. We're all going to go looking for that cookbook on Amazon. And
it is absolute trash. Like, so.
I love it. But you have a couple of shirts too that you sell, right?
Yeah, I do.
Gifts and stuff. So
yep, they're all on my website too.
My favorite one, I think you have like Jesus Take the Whole Car or something.
That's this one. Yeah.
Oh yes. I love love it.
Yeah,
So,
that's my favorite. I wear this like at least once a week because
I need to get that one
right now.
Yeah, I need to get it. I say Jesus take the wheel all the time, so I like need it so bad. But anyways, please check out her stuff. Follow her. She's amazing. I love her to death. And also, okay, so this is probably super embarrassing, but I had some caffeine, so I'm going to share it. Like caffeine does the same thing for me that vodka does, so it's great. But
me too. That's
okay,
crazy.
yeah, I know, isn't it wild? So it like makes me super hyper, and then I pass out. But your husband, I feel like he looks like Usher. And so now everyone's going to go follow you just to see. But I'll never forget, like the first time meeting you guys, we walked away and I said, babe, doesn't he? And he was like, look like Usher. And I was like, yes. And I didn't know Victor's name for the longest time. I knew your name, but I could not ever remember Victor. So I would always say, like, Stephani and Usher. Like,
stop. No.
Oh my gosh. What am I doing to myself?
Nobody has ever said that. They always say, what's the guy that sings Happy? Pharrell. Yeah, people say Pharrell. If they say anyone, they don't typically say anyone, but definitely Pharrell over Usher is what I've heard.
Yeah, I do see that now. I love Usher, so that's probably why. Now you're gonna have to tell him, but then don't tell me you told him because I'm gonna be so embarrassed. But anyways, yeah, I had to share that little known fact because seriously, I'm always like, Stephani and Usher. So anyway, I'm gonna go back and look at him now and like see Pharrell. Let's put a side by side up. Yep. Anyways, all right, Stephani, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for everything. These are such great things. And again, Great Life is a must. And then also don't forget, check out NicoleGolden.org. I still have the Praying Scared Prayer Journal up there. That's free, 7 days. Love for you guys to take a look at that. But hope you have a great day and a stress-free December. Thanks for joining in, guys.